Using adaptive cruise control inside of GM vehicles is a very straightforward process. And one cool thing is that you can switch to regular cruise, and there's the option for SuperCruise as well. So turning the system on or off is using this button here. And then if you've got a head-up display, it'll show you toggling it on there. You can see the little notches there on the left side of the cluster screen, letting you know that it's turned on. Once you get to the speed that you'd like, you're going to push down to set your speed, and then you can increase or decrease 1 kilometer or 1 mile per hour at a time, or you can push up or push and hold down to move to the next 5 or 0. So it's essentially going to knock you up 5 or 0, like essentially 5 kilometers or 5 miles per hour at a time. So if you're at 47, you push and hold up, it'll take you to 50. Keep on pushing and holding, 55, 60, whatever the case may be. And that's the same way with pushing and holding down. You can hit this button to temporarily cancel. You can hit the brake to cancel, and then push back up in order to resume. And then there's a distance indicator. So it's how close or far are you away from the vehicle that's in front of you, with 3 unique levels. I want you to think of that like a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi type of a rule. So when you're on gap adjustment 1 versus 3, honestly, I'd recommend 1 on residential streets versus 2 on highways, but that's going to be a matter of personal preference. There's a SuperCruise button as well. So we won't be able to use it because I'm not on a highway, but I'll demonstrate how that one works in person as well here. And then one nice thing is that you can also push and hold this cancel button in order to turn into regular cruise control. So GM vehicles now have 3 different types of cruise. So it's either going to be traditional cruise control, where if you have it set at a set speed, it's going to hold you at that speed until you brake. There's adaptive cruise control, where if the car in front of you slows down, yours is automatically going to brake. If they change lanes, pick up speed, whatever the case may be, it's going to pick you back up to your previously set speed. I love adaptive cruise control. And then there's new SuperCruise, which is fully hands-free driving on highways and interstates. So let's drive, and I'll show you how this process actually works in person. And honestly, I recommend the adaptive cruise control system, and just by pushing and holding that button there in order to make it happen. Adaptive cruise, in my opinion, is the best way to go from a cruise control perspective. And the reason why is, like I said, if the car in front of you starts to slow down, or if they brake and you're not paying attention, it's automatically going to brake for you. So from a general safety perspective, that's definitely the way to go, in my opinion. Ooh. Brock Street Brewery, great beer. Great beer. This is not sponsored by Brock Street Brewery. This is perfect now because I'll be able to show you with some traffic here as well how the system works. All right, so I'm going to start off. I'm going to set the speed. There are cars in front of me. It's a 50 road, but you can see there it's automatically braking for me as well. And then as I go to turn here, one thing it won't do, regardless of the cruise control system you're on, it's not going to bring you down to a full stop at a light unless there's somebody in front of you. So if you want to make sure you're braking, just make sure you're paying attention, because it won't brake at a red light for you automatically. Like I said, regardless of the type of cruise that you're in. Okay, here we go. So it's currently a 50 road, so I'm going to push up and I'm going to keep on pushing and holding up to get to 50. There we go. And the car in front of me is going a little bit slower, and then they're picking up speed, so it's bringing me right back up to the set speed that I've got. I've got the distance indicator, or the gap adjustment, so how close or far are you away from the vehicle that's in front of you. Like I said, residential streets like this, you're okay with 1, and really even on the highway or interstates, like I do find level 1 for the gap adjustment is more than sufficient, but it's going to be a matter of personal preference. Like how close or far do you personally enjoy being in front of the vehicle or away from the vehicle that's in front of you? So like I said, that one is going to come down to a matter of personal preference. But it's straightforward. I mean, look at this. So as I start to veer over into a lane without signaling, So it can nudge you back into your lane there. There are different lane keeping and safety systems that are available as well. Let's get SuperCruise active. So SuperCruise, you have to be in Canada on 400 series highways, in the States, different interstates, highways, whatever the case may be, in order to get the full hands-free driving experience. So we're in a bend here, and I'm going to push up to resume my speed and keep on pushing and holding up to go up 5 kilometers at a time. It's the same thing in the States. You'd be going up 5 miles per hour at a time instead. There we go. If I wanted to, I could brake in order to temporarily pause that speed. I can push up to resume my previously set speed. And, okay, can't use SuperCruise as of yet, but once that system's available, you can push that. There we go, look at this. So I'm green, which means that the system is now available, and this guy is cutting me off. Perfect. And the car is steering for me. It's doing everything for me. So it's steering, it's controlling the gas, the brake, whatever the case may be. You can see here, it's also doing an automatic lane change. And that's one really cool feature that the system has, is that if you've got it set, let's say 100 kilometers an hour, car in front of you starts to slow down, yours can automatically change lanes for you in order to get around the slower obstacle, and then it can pull you right back into that lane again. It honestly is such a brilliant system. But as you can see here, I'm still fully hands-free. I love this system. It's so good. And then I'm coming up to an exit. There we go. I wasn't sure what it was going to do there, but hands are still off the wheel and it's doing everything for me here. It's going to attempt to do another auto lane change as well. You could overwrite it just by hanging on the steering wheel there, or you can hit the brake in order to cancel the cruise control system, but like I said, it's doing everything for me here. Now, the auto lane change system is phenomenal. You don't have to use it though, so you do technically have the option of toggling it off through the infotainment system. And then if you wanted to manually change lanes, go back over yourself, hit the turn stalk there, and then once it starts moving you over, you're set to go. But look at this. Full hands-free driving available inside of this ride. So again, in a nutshell, you can toggle the cruise control system on or off by pushing this button. You could then push and hold this button if you wanted to turn into regular or adaptive cruise control. This one is for SuperCruise, so that's the full hands-free driving experience that we're doing here. There's a gap adjustment, so how close or far are you away from the vehicle that's in front of you? Increase or decrease your speed this way as well. And then this one is an option to go into a low gear mode instead. So we're in drive. If you were pulling a heavy boat, or whatever the case may be, you could hit this to go into a low gear instead. But it's straightforward using it. And that's how you utilize the adaptive cruise, the regular cruise, and the new SuperCruise feature inside of GM vehicles.